This video, taken from the Rio Plus 20 2012 United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, which was the anniversary of the 1992 United Nations Earth Summit. This video is about Severn Suzuki, who is this lady here who now she's grown up and has family of her own, and this is Britanny Trilford sitting next to her from New Zealand. And Britanny Trilford was chosen to give a speech, a very fine speech, to the Rio Plus 20 conference on behalf of the world's youth. Now, this is Severn Suzuki when she was 12 years old, and she somewhat made history by a very stirring address that she gave to the Rio Earth Summit conference assembly in 1992. And as I say, here she is back 20 years later in 2012 at the Rio Plus 20 conference. And this is the big event with all the leaders of state at the Rio Plus 20 conference. But the highlight for me and many others was Severn Suzuki and Britanny Trilford and what they had to say.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Severn Suzuki. I am here in Rio after 20 years, and it is quite an experience coming back here and discuss how we are going to turn the tide towards a way of life that will actually carry us through. Everyone wants to know what has happened in the last 20 years. How far have we come? Have we made progress? 20 years after Rio, we have not even come close to achieving the sustainable transition that we knew we needed back then. This is the honest truth. We all know this sitting here. Let us be honest. 20 years after Rio, the citizen engagement hasn't been enough to filter through to shift the tide. Though our ecosystems continue to decline in a tailspin terrifying to any biologist, the growth of the economy, the success of our current economy remains the foremost for politicians and the institutions clinging to power. And the collusion between our governments and corporations that we have seen rise in the last 20 years is enough to make anyone of my generation totally cynical. This is what I've believed for the last 20 years of my life. My voice matters. But it is clear that the current global meta strategy is to turn everything from nature into profit at a rate and at a scale that dwarfs its opposition. 20 years on since Rio, we need nothing short of a massive paradigm shift if the human race is to carry forward into the future with dignity. Today it's 2012. I'm a veteran environmentalist at age 32. I've committed my last 20 years to trying to influence societal transformation to a way of life that will actually support intergenerational justice. And intergenerational justice is what we are really talking about when we talk about sustainable development. Stopping the intergenerational crimes that we are perpetrating towards current and future human beings who will have to deal with climate change and deal with these legacies. I've done a lot of things in 20 years. I've grown up a lot. But those 6 minutes speaking to the UN 20 years ago, 2 decades ago, remains the most powerful thing I have ever done, the most strongest thing I have done in my life to affect people.
Hello, I'm Severn Suzuki, speaking for ECHO, the Environmental Children's Organization. We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference. To come 5,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways. Coming up here today, I have no hidden agenda. I am fighting for my future. I am here to speak for all generations to come. I am here to speak for the countless animals, dying across this planet because they have nowhere left to go. And now we hear of animals and plants going extinct every day, vanishing forever. In my life, I have dreamt of seeing the great herds of wild animals, jungles and rainforests full of birds and butterflies. But now I wonder if they will even exist for my children to see. Did you have to worry of these things when you were my age? All this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act as if we have all the time we want. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all part of a family, 5 billion strong. In fact, 30 million species strong. And borders and governments will never change that. I know we are all in this together and should act as one single world towards one single goal. In my anger, I am not blind, and in my fear, I am not afraid of telling the world how I feel. Northern countries will not share with the needy. Even when we have more than enough, we are afraid to share. We are afraid to let go of some of our wealth. Why are we who have everything still so greedy? I am only a child, yet I know if all the money spent on war was spent on finding environmental answers, ending poverty, and finding treaties, what a wonderful place this earth would be. You are deciding what kind of a world we are growing up in. Parents should be able to comfort their children by saying, everything's going to be all right. It's not the end of the world, and we're doing the best we can. But I don't think you can say that to us anymore. You grown-ups say you love us, but I challenge you, please, make your actions reflect your words. Thank you.
Since then, I have received letters from people around the world, and the video somehow found its way onto YouTube and has gone around the world and has experienced a rebirth. Why? I think that this phenomenon shows that the world is hungry for this message, that we are desperate to hear someone speak the truth, speak this message. We need someone to cut through all of the rationalization that we have built up for the destruction of our planet. And no one can do this better than those with everything at stake, which is our youth. Were any of you moved by that video you saw? That video gave me goosebumps. That video is the voice of youth. That video and this young woman sitting here, they are telling the truth, and everybody tomorrow listening to her will know it. The second reason that people are still talking about a speech a 12-year-old made to delegates 20 years ago is because of the most powerful tool belonging to the human race. This most powerful tool that we have is the power of intergenerational love. As we look back on our progress since the Earth Summit in 1992, it would be easy, it would be too easy to be discouraged. But a generation has nearly passed, and today I am a mother of little boys, aged 2 and 4 months, and I will do everything in my power to ensure that they have the opportunities and the just life that I had when I was growing up. And I believe that everyone here in this room, I believe that the 50,000 people that are here in Rio for the Earth Summit in 2012, I believe all of us will do everything we can to ensure that our children have every opportunity in their lives. This I choose to believe. And because I choose to believe this, I am optimistic for the future. We are at a turning point. We are listening to our young people. And I believe we are going to change for the better. Thank you very much.
Today, this morning, I met Miss Severn Suzuki, and she was the girl who silenced the world for 5 minutes. She silenced me for more than 5 minutes. I was in absolute awe, and she's so inspirational. But I watch her videos enough times to know and recognize her and see what she looks like and hear her voice. And she was still youthful, and she's 32 now. I just came back from speaking to the Corporate Sustainability Forum. And it sounds scary because it is. 300 business leaders and big people in the economic world, and I got to talk to them about the future that I want. Well, it's getting dark out and it's winter now, so the sun sets really quickly. So we're going to head in, but I'm super excited for tomorrow. Thank you, Secretary General and leaders, for the opportunity to address this plenary. Tēnā koutou from New Zealand. My name is Britanny Trilford. I'm 17 years old. Today, in this moment, I'm all children. Your children. The world's 3 billion children. Think of me as half the world. I stand here with fire in my heart. I'm confused and angry at the state of the world. And I want us to work together now to change this. We are here today to solve the problems that we have caused as a collective, to ensure that we have a future. You and your governments have promised to reduce poverty and sustain our environment. You have already promised to combat climate change, to ensure clean water and food security. Multinational corporations have already pledged to respect the environment, green their production, compensate for their pollution. These promises have been made, and yet still, our future is in danger. We are all aware that time is ticking, and we are quickly running out. You have 72 hours to decide the fate of your children, my children's children. And I start the clock now. Tick, tick, tick. Let us think back. 20 years ago, well before I was even an inkling in my parents' eyes. Think back here to Rio, where people met at the first Earth Summit in 1992. The people at this summit knew there needed to be change. All our systems were failing, collapsing all around us. And these people came together to acknowledge these challenges, to work for something better, to commit to something better. They made great promises, promises that when I read them, still leave me feeling hopeful. These promises are left not broken, but empty. How can that be? When all around us there is knowledge that offers us solutions. Nature, as a design tool, offers insight into systems that are whole, complete, that give life, create value, allow progress, transformation, and change. We, the next generation, demand change. Demand action so that we can have a future. We trust you in the next 72 hours to put our interests before all other interests and boldly do the right thing. I am here to fight for my future. That's why I'm here. And I would like to end today by asking you to consider why you're here and what you can do. Are you here to save face, or are you here to save us? Thank you.